Yet while what he learns about himself is disastrous to others as well as himself, he did manage to teach me something, unless it was the mere passing semesters, that however valid an image of nihilism these two men's quandaries might be, their cast of mind could also be regarded in a quite different light, and their frustration have a quite different issue. The hero of the sotweed factor, though he shares some traits with his predecessors, of whom in fact he's the ancestor since the story is set in the late 17th century, is rather a totalist than a nihilist, more a cosmophilist than a mere cosmoptic, and in fact no weary sophisticate, but a perplexed innocent, what many of us learn ourselves to be as we grow less naive. Here's what his education, Ebenezer Cook's and his sister Anna's, was like. The twins' education then went on from morning till night. Burlingame, their tutor, joined readily in their play acting, and had he dared ask leave, would have slept with them as well to guide their games. If his system lacked the discipline of Locke's, who would have all students soak their feet in cold water, it was a good deal more fun. Ebenezer and Anna loved their teacher, and the three were great companions. To teach them history, he directed their play acting to historical events. To stimulate their interest in geography, he produced volumes of exotic pictures and tales of adventure. To sharpen their logical equipment, he ran them through Zeno's paradoxes as one would ask riddles, and rehearsed them in Descartes' skepticism as gaily as though the search for truth and value in the universe were a game of who's got the button. He taught them to wonder at a leaf of thyme, at a line of Palestrina, the configuration of Cassiopeia, the scales of a Pilchard, the sound of Indefatigable, the elegance of a Sorites. The result of this education was that the twins grew quite enamored of the world, especially Ebenezer, for Anna, from about her 13th birthday, began to grow more demure and less demonstrative. But Ebenezer could be moved to shivers by the swoop of a barn swallow, to cries of laughter at the lace of a cobweb or the roar of an organ's pedal notes, and to sudden tears by the wit of Volpone, the tension of a violin box, or the truth of the Pythagorean theorem. It's a pity that Burlingame could not accompany Ebenezer when at 18 the boy made ready to matriculate at Cambridge, for though a good teacher will teach well regardless of the theory he suffers from, and though Burlingame's might seem to have been an unusually attractive one, yet there is no perfect educational method, and it must be admitted that at least partly because of his tutoring, Ebenezer took quite the same sort of pleasure in history as in Greek mythology and epic poetry, and made little or no distinction between, say, the geography of the atlases and that of the fairy stories. In short, because learning had been for him such a pleasant game, he could not regard the facts of zoology or the Norman conquest, for example, with genuine seriousness, nor could he discipline himself to long labor at tedious tasks. Even his great imagination and enthusiasm for the world were not unalloyed virtues when combined with his gay resolution, for though they led him to a great sense of the arbitrariness of the particular real world, they didn't endow him with a corresponding sense of its finality. He very well knew, for instance, that France is shaped like a teapot, but he could scarcely accept the fact that there was actually in existence at that moment such a place as France, where people were speaking French and eating snails whether he thought about them or not, and that despite the virtual infinitude of shapes, this France would have to go on resembling a teapot forever. And again, though the whole business of Greece and Rome was unquestionably delightful, he found the notion preposterous, almost unthinkable, that this was the only way it happened. This made him nervous and irritable when he thought of it at all.